take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Hello and welcome. This is the Red Pill with the Red Pill News Dispensary. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're up and running. I had it all set up, and for some reason it wouldn't let me go live. So I just want to make sure that we are actually live now. Yeah, see it. Oh man, see it. That wasn't supposed to go live before the other thing. So I'm just looking to see if we are in fact live. And then we're going to get right into some of this stuff here. It's unbelievable. I mean, the more I do work into... so I'm not live. So I'm not live. Okay, hold on. Oh wait, I am. Okay. Alright. So I'm not live. Alright, so excuse a couple of mistakes there. I'll delete those videos that weren't supposed to be up. But who we're speaking about today is Ilhan Omar. And basically what got her on my radar was some of the studying I've been doing, because I've been working on this Notre Dame video, and the more I have been studying it, the more I come across information that I just can't ignore. And if there's noise in the background, just excuse me, and including the Sesame Street. I know this was on the other stream that wasn't supposed to go up. You know, you guys know, anyone who is regular here, you guys know I'm a single dad. All right, Olivia, there you go. So, you know, that's just how it goes. But this is what I wanted to talk. I want to talk about this congresswoman. Now, I grew up in the city, and I have friends from all different backgrounds. So, you know, it's pretty easy for certain people to use, act like you're being racist or an Islamophobe. I was called that earlier today in an email. Had some comments on another video earlier talking about how, I don't know what I'm talking about, and how, or I do, well, that what I'm talking about might be right, but there's a bigger picture. But, and exactly what I told this guy. Listen, for those of you guys who are strictly liberal, and that's all. Now, me, I'm an independent. Yes, I can't help but support the Republican Party right now because Trump is the president, and I think Trump has a lot of good ideas and America's best interest at heart. So, like, for instance, this commenter, he went on to talk about how, well, yeah, of course, we shouldn't have this and this and this, and, you're absolutely right what you're talking about. But in the bigger picture, is it not true that this? And it's like, listen, hey, if you have that attitude about everything, they're just going to keep on sneaking in the things that I'm talking about that you decide to ignore because you think there's a bigger lesson to be had or a bigger picture. Yes, there is a bigger picture, but it's not that they are given extreme examples to basically make a point that some of these basic rights should be in place. No, they are making these extreme examples, and the more we let that go, the more the goalpost is going to move. All right, and we've seen it happen. All right, if I hadn't seen it happen over these past 10 years, 10, 11 years, then I wouldn't be saying this. But I've been seeing it happen. I heard all these different types of things, and as every year goes by, what seems like it's just a extreme view to make a point becomes literate. It's a literal It's a literal. They take all these things literally, and it's taken by the left as a extreme view to as if some kind of means is going to be met. But anyways, it's just there's so many different things I could talk about from emails I get, and I feel bad for these people because I can tell that they do care about this country. All right, I'm just gonna put on a quick Sesame Street, and then. Sorry, guys. Like I said, life of the single father. Okay, so all right, we're gonna go get right into not just this exact thing, but a few other things, and also I have some announcements to make. So Ilhan Omar claims U.S. forces killed thousands, which is an exaggeration, by the way, of Somalis during Black Hawk Down mission. Resurfaced tweet shows. So. This is something that she said a while ago. It's resurfaced. All right, so a resurfaced tweet from Representative Ilhan Omar saw the Minnesota Democrat. And by the way, may I say, what is going on in Minnesota? Now, I know there's a huge Somali population there in Minnesota. I know that they took in a lot of Syrian refugees in Minnesota. But are they the majority? I don't understand. How could someone like this get into Congress? And when I say someone like this, before you jump down my throat, I'm not talking about a Muslim, okay? I'm talking about a radical, okay? That cares more about her home country than she does this country, all right? And to care about other countries that are oppressed, that's one thing. But to care about it more than your own country, that's treason. And I know that that's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but this is somebody who's going through it. I don't know, maybe she's guilty because guess what? During Black Hawk Down, all that went on in Somalia, you know where she was? Her and her family had already left. They'd already left the area. So maybe she feels a little bit guilty for not being there during, the horrible acts that went on. I say that sarcastically, of course, Freddies. So, all right. So, I'm telling you, I've been seeing tweets about this. I started looking into it. I got a lot of veteran friends on Twitter. People are pissed. So, we're going to get right into it and just keep going. I'm going to start. So the Minnesota Democrat claims U.S. forces killed thousands, which is an exaggeration, of Somalis during the 1993 Black Hawk Down mission. Of course, that's famous by the movie. Despite multiple analysts concluding the number was much smaller, as I said. In the October 2017 tweet, discovered by journalist John Rosamando, Omar was responding to a Twitter user who'd highlighted that more than a dozen U.S. soldiers were killed and another 73 were wounded in the Battle of Mogadishu, saying it was the worst terrorist attack in Somalia history. Now, do you understand what's going on here? Okay, so Omar, a Somali refugee who was then, at that time, in 93, a Minnesota state rep. So I don't want to hear anything from Minnesota. Oh, well, all these people flooded. No, she was a state rep. This psycho was a state rep back in 93, okay? Which is why she probably feels guilty, because that's where her real allegiances lie. And she was over here talking about God knows what in Minnesota. So she refuted the tweet, insisting that thousands of Somalis were killed by American forces. In his selective memory, he forgets to also mention, so when this guy is talking about the 73 wounded U.S. soldiers, and I think the number's not here, but I think I forget how many were killed. I'm surprised it's not in the article. But many were killed as well, including special forces, pilots, I mean, if you've seen the movie, you saw the hell it was for those boys. And at the time, she was already a representative of this government, in particular, Minnesota, okay? And this is just recently, this is this year that she tweeted this. Earlier this year, but this year. So she says, this is what she says. In his selective memory, he forgets to also mention the thousands of Somalis killed by the American forces that day, Omar tweeted. She also included the hashtag, not today, Satan. Now, need I remind you, she wasn't just some small state rep when she wrote this. This was right now, as a senator. This is what she wrote, okay? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did I say senator? Please don't tell me she's a senator. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. There's no way she'd be a senator. But yeah, but still, she's in the House of Representatives from Minnesota. Like I said, I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. But that's what she said. In his selective memory, I mean, we're talking about U.S. soldiers here. This is somebody in the House of Representatives. He forgets to also mention the thousands of Somalis killed by the American forces that day. By the American forces that day. It's like almost as if we're the enemy to her. You know, she talks about us as if she's like, if I saw this and it was written by, and it said, you know, Somali representative said the American, you know, it would make more sense. But this is said by an American congresswoman. And then she includes the hashtag, not today, Satan. So the guy who wants us to give memory to the many killed and 73 wounded, her hashtag is not today, Satan, referring to him as Satan for even thinking of, I don't know, honoring these men. I mean, this is disgusting. Oh, but let me guess. When the Democrats leave comments, there's a bigger picture. She's trying to say something bigger. No. Take it for what it is. The number of Somali casualties in the battle, and meanwhile, she said thousands, right? The number of Somali casualties in the Battle of Mogadishu is widely disputed. A representative of the Somali National Alliance estimated that only 133 militiamen were killed during a 2001 interview, while Black Hawk Down, A Story of Modern War, author Mark Bowden estimated roughly 500 Somalis were killed. Now, usually the truth is somewhere in the middle, and because of the person who made the Black Hawk Down, A Story of Modern War author, I would think that his number is probably closest to the truth. I'm not going to think it's as low as 133, yet we had, you know, so many dead and 73. We probably had about 100 wounded or killed, and only 133 were killed of them. I doubt that. Usually that's not how it works. But then to say thousands, that seems like an exaggeration. Usually the truth is somewhere in the middle, which is why I think Mark Bowden estimated roughly 500 Somalis. I think that's closest to the truth, because that's what we're about, getting to the truth. I think that's probably a more accurate number. 500 Somalis were killed. Which, hey, I mean, that's what happens in war. And I thought that you're a representative of this country, not the country you came from. But I honestly, what I really think it is guilt on her part, because her heart is in Somalia. As the investigative project, and that's an opinion, probably a correct one, but an opinion nonetheless. As the investigative project on terrorism also noted, the RAND Corporation reported that about 300 civilians were killed, while others estimated nearly 1,000. Like I said, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Well, I'm not even going to get into this story. I have so much stories in this woman. It is unbelievable how much crap is on this woman. I mean, I didn't even read this story, but, I mean, I guess the title says it all. Omar calls White House advisor Stephen Miller a white nationalist. If we have time, we'll get to that as well. Critics went after Omar after her tweet resurfaced. Well, how did it not surface in the first place? That's my question. Omar's office did not immediately respond to Fox News' request for comment. This was just the latest controversy surrounding the freshman congresswoman, which she's one of like this three-headed monster of like psycho congresswoman. Two of them from Minnesota, by the way. One from the Bronx. Although really, she spent most of her time over here in Boston at BU in the Rich area. I can tell you that firsthand. I know people who know her. You know, AOC. She never lived a life of, you know, the way she claims. You know, oh, I'm just a girl from the Bronx. You know, I've been through the, you know, the hard knocks and all that. No, 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 no. I know a bunch of people who knew you, who know where you really came from, which is actually outside of the Bronx. And when you were over here at BU, you were doing pretty well for yourself and living in a really, really nice, not where the other students live. All right, I mean, other students live there, but not where normal other students live at BU. All right, I got a lot of insight because you went to BU. I got a lot of inside info on her. I mean, but today we're talking about Omar. So, and I feel like I have to say this. This is nothing against Muslims. This is nothing like that. Although, let's be honest, the reason I came across this information, if I'm being honest, is because I've been looking into this Notre Dame. I've been working on this Notre Dame research for the video. And there is this impending war coming. Christians are fed up. Muslims are fed up. And they're both fed up with each other. Which is why it probably resurfaced rather than surfaced then. So like I said, this was just the latest controversy around the freshman congresswoman. Omar was condemned by congressional colleagues on both sides of the aisle for various tweets that were considered anti-Semitic. Oh, she hates the Jews as well. So Jews, you know, you guys are involved too. All right. Well, we all knew that about her. If you knew nothing about her, you knew that she hates Jews. More recently, she took heat, including from President Trump, for a line in a speech she gave to the Council on American Islamic Relations. I mean, you know, it just seems like that's the only people that she is speaking to. So what did she say to this Council on American Islamic Relations? She said, in her defense of the organization, that the Council on American Islamic Relations was founded after September 11, 2001, because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties. Except that isn't true. That organization was formed in 1994. So another lie. Critics said her line, "Some people did something." I know, I was wondering myself, what's that mean? And I'm reading this live with you. So just so you guys know, if you can't tell, you know, I'll do like kind of like a sweep and just kind of like gather some knowledge so I know what I'm talking about. But as far as the exact articles that I read, as I read them, I'm reading them for the first time along with you. You know, I might do some research, but I make sure that whatever article I read is fresh to me as I read it. That's why sometimes you hear me like make a statement, and the next line, you know, it goes on to say that anyway. It happens all the time. All right, so critics said her line, "Some people did something," was insulting to victims of the terrorist attacks. Yeah, I'd be one of those people. All right, so unbelievable. I want to see that actual tweet. I want to see the actual tweet. Let's see if we can find it. It's probably white from you'll find it all over. Well, yeah, and there's rumors that she's married her brother. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on this woman. I mean, even the Democrats, they have to be like, okay, we need to rein this woman in. So, okay, Ilhan Omar once addressed a gender segregated audience in Somalia. Because, I mean, you think these three congresswomen I was talking about, they're all females. So you would think that, that's a proud thing for a woman. And they use that. They use that because there's no way that they would just get voted in just based on who they are as people. Not these three. But being a woman, I mean, I understand. Women want to be represented more, and I think they should be. But I think they just, in some cases, got behind the wrong horses. All right, so Minnesota Democrat Representative Ilhan Omar once spoke to an audience segregated by gender in her native Somalia, as she praised the country's efforts empowering women and sought to contrast that with America's. She praised the country's efforts empowering women to a segregated audience? Huh? And now I know that's the way of the, Islamic faith, which is where I got this story, but that's not exactly empowering. I mean, I don't know. Maybe for Muslims it is empowering to be second class if you're a woman. I don't know. You have a duty, and that is to make babies, and that's it, and to not show your face. But I don't know. We're a melting pot here in this country. But that doesn't mean that we have to put up with the crap from other countries that we don't agree with as a whole. Apparently, though, there's one party in this country that does. And like I said, I am not some die-hard Republican. Because what is a die-hard Republican? I mean, really? Bush? Seriously? I mean, come on. If you're for Bush, you're not for type of things I'm for. So it's just things have changed. I've always been an independent. I've supported Democrats in the past, certain Democrats, but ever since Trump, I've supported nobody but Trump. And in order to get Trump's agenda done, I have to support other Republicans that might be a little too conservative for me. Although at least they're Christian, at least they do share some values. Whereas this is just something that, I treat women with respect. I mean, all my mods, for the most part, are women. And you ask any of them how I talk to them, how I interact with them. It's in a totally respectful manner. I raise a little girl all alone. I just... Okay. So Omar, the embattled freshman Democrat who faced numerous controversies over comments decried as anti-Semitic, there it is again, and other statements, appeared on the Deprani show, a Somali news show. It really seems like this is that's where her heart is, and because that's where her heart is, she knows that she can help out where her heart is, her country, Somalia. All right, because that's what, and I only say her country, Somalia, not because she came from Somalia. I say that because it's obvious that's where her heart is. So it seems like she can help her country most by screwing this country up and just putting all of our values as a country, and I'm not even saying as a Christian, just as a country, as a melting pot, by putting our values off to the side. Now, as a Christian, I mean, forget about it. It's pretty obvious what's going on here. So anyway, so that was following her election to the Minnesota's House of Representatives. So here it was. Here's the men probably towards the front, more important. You can see that, they kind of sit the way they want, dress the way they want. Here's the woman. Look at them. Now, I understand it's a hijab, that's part of their culture. But do you know why they have to wear that? There's reasons. And the reasons for it are degrading by American standards. The show, which celebrated Omar's victory, I'm sure they were celebrating, yeah, was filmed at Puntland State University in December 2016 and featured prominent shots of women and men seated separately. During her remarks, Omar praised Puntland, the semi-autonomous regional territory of Somalia, for setting the goal of a 30% quota for women in legislative positions. There in America, we are yet to achieve that. So we're looking for that justice and the same justice for the races, genders, and everything. I think you know what everything means there, she said, according to the translation. But Omar's appearance at the event and lack of comments about the segregation in the room was striking, considering her image as a barrier-breaking politician who fights for women's rights everywhere. Oh, so I'm the only one who saw that, huh? I stand in solidarity with everyone who is fighting to protect the rights of women and girls, domestically and internationally, she tweeted in March. With the fist emoji. As she speaks to segregated crowds in her heartland. Omar has been critical of other countries over human rights violations, often criticizing Saudi Arabia for its women's rights record. I wonder why. Maybe because Saudi Arabia is an ally of America, that's why. Ilhan Omar raises nearly $1 million after controversy, tops other progressive Dems like AOC. This is blowing my mind. See, I thought honestly, this woman, she had one foot out the door. Yet she's raised $1 million more than these other two. I mean, one of them's just as bad. AOC is just like, she's dangerous in a different way, promoting socialism. But let's continue. The Saudi government might have been strategic at covering up the daily atrocities carried out against minorities, women, activists, and even the Yemen genocide. But the murder of Jamal, they didn't even, I don't know if their little hashtag doesn't actually put his name right, but it's supposed to be Jamal Khashoggi, should be the last evil act they are allowed to commit, she tweeted last October. Seems like she has an agenda, doesn't it? In response to a tweet accusing her of not speaking up for women's rights in Saudi Arabia, Omar insisted that she did and reiterated that we need to collectively fight for women's rights around the world. But the same criticism hasn't been extended to Somalia, which she wields influence due to her political success in the U.S. A UN report several years ago described gender inequality as a serious problem in Somalia, citing violence against women and extremely limited women participation in politics and decision-making spheres. Alright, well, I mean, my mind's kind of blown on that one. Okay, so I have much more, guys. I just want to kind of check in on things. I want to check in on you. Shoot. Yeah, that's where I should be seeing things. Wait. Am I not live? I don't see anything in chat. Oh, okay, now I see it. So you guys were able to read along with that whole article, correct? If someone could just tell me yes or no. Have I been live while I've been reading those two articles? Was I live for both articles? Okay, for both articles, yes. Okay, good. All right, let's continue. I'm gonna see where I want to go. That's for last. Save that for last. All right. So, we keep on hearing about our anti-Semitic views. So, let's kind of go down that rabbit hole. Rabbi blasts Ilhan Omar in the New York Times for pushing claim Jesus was Palestinian, not Jewish. So she's saying that Jesus was not Jewish? I mean, I know that she's read the Quran, but has she even glanced or heard of the Bible? It's pretty clear he was Jewish. The king of the Jews, but he was Palestinian. Okay. Alright. Now, it's one thing he's Palestinian, but she made it clear. Palestinian, not Jewish. So, alright. My curiosity's piqued. Let's see what we got here. Like I said, when I read these, it's my first time reading them. Alright. A Jewish rabbi is calling out a Muslim lawmaker who has been accused of anti-Semitism in the New York Times for pushing the notion that Jesus was a Palestinian. Rabbi Abraham Cooper, Associate and Director of Global Social Action Agenda at the Simon Wiesenthal Center, called out Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, after she retweeted a tweet from Omar Suleiman, an adjunct professor of Islamic Studies at Southern Methodist University, who said a Palestinian relative asked him why the Christian right in America largely supports their oppression. It's not a bad question. I mean, sometimes I wonder myself, you need to, because I just reading this for the first time, she has anti-Semitic views in a different way than I would. I don't have anti-Semitic views. I'm just worried about the certain faction who aren't really Jewish. And I think you guys know what faction I'm talking about. They use the cloak of Judaism, but they're not actually Jewish. So those are the people that I would be worried about, let's say. So we already heard this story. Suleiman wrote that his relative asked, "Don't they know Jesus was Palestinian?" So here's his exact tweet right here. I was once asked by a relative who was Palestinian Christian why the Christian right in America largely supports their oppression. Don't they know we're Christian too? Do they even consider us human? Don't they know Jesus was a Palestinian? I think that's someone who just doesn't exactly understand Jesus. I think that what that guy is getting at, this guy's friend, is that he's a Christian. So he automatically thinks, well, so Jesus was Christian and a Palestinian Christian at that. But Christianity is based on Jesus. So how could he be? It just doesn't make sense. He was a Jew. He was rejected by most Jews at the time and today. But he was still a Jew. So, alright. The day before the tweet, a New York Times op-ed claimed Jesus, born in Bethlehem, was most likely a Palestinian man with dark skin. Wow. See all this stuff? I mean, like media didn't call Sri Lanka massacre attacking Christians. Here's why a Muslim scholar calls it very troubling. Yeah, you know what they called it an attack on? If you guys saw my video before, but I'll say it here. On Easter worshippers. They didn't say on Christians. There's something going on here. And by the way, we're going to tie it all together. And it's not just going to be in this video. It's going to be a series of videos all tonight. I'm going to probably put 3 videos out tonight. Any of those videos, once I'm done reading whatever the topic is, I'll take a call or two. So that includes this one. At the end of this, once I'm done, alright, so it's not the way my call-in show goes, where you call now and you're going to be next later. No, once I'm done, I'm willing to take calls in this matter. And you can kind of be against what I'm saying, for what I'm saying. So all you people who like to hide behind a keyboard, here's your chance to have your voice heard. Anyways, I continue. Cooper was accused the New York Times of fake news and said both are trying to rewrite history with the claim. Palestine was a name made up by Romans after they crucified thousands, destroyed the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, and exiled the people of Israel from their homeland, Cooper told the Jewish Journal. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about, because that's all true. Others called out Omar following the retweet. No, Jesus was Jewish, actually. Fred Menachem, I butcher some of these names, but I do my best. A media commentator wrote, I'm a bit surprised that a congressperson would retweet false and inaccurate information. I'd be surprised too, but in the world we live in now, with women like this, not so surprised. Not after I did my blanketed research on her. I mean, I'm just, but she is what she is. It's Minnesota. It's the people in Minnesota. What's wrong with you? The account for students supporting Israel said, is it for real? Jesus was a Jew. What's next? The Pope is also Palestinian? Stop lowering our IQ. I hear you, buddy. The New York Times and Omar are not the first to make that claim. Jeremiah Wright, the controversial pastor who preached at a Chicago church attended by President Barack Obama, who we'll be getting into in a minute, claimed Jesus was a Palestinian years ago at a Nation of Islam event. Wow. All right. All right, so here we go. So this is in Breitbart, so take for that what you will, but we will take the truth from this that we can. Why, what Ilhan Omar said about Jews, Israel, and Congress was so wrong. Representative Ilhan Omar is doubling down. Jews, she suggests, not just the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, a pro-Israel lobby group, use money to bribe Congress to defend Israel, which it would not otherwise do. That is none too subtle claims. That is the none too subtle claim she made Sunday evening in a series of tweets and retweets that has ignited forgive me for my ignorance, but furor over anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party. Omar began by responding to Glenn Greenwald, a widely known critic of Israel, who lamented that members of Congress defended Israel. She tweeted, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," suggesting the influence of money. You know what? That's the only thing I've heard her say that might have a little bit of truth to it. Doesn't mean it's right. Morally right, meaning, not factually, but morally, doesn't mean that it's the right thing to say. But I, for one, don't support dual citizenship congressmen and congresswomen. I just don't. I think it's a conflict of interest. Now she's not exactly a dual citizen, but she might as well be. So I'm not for her most of all. When asked by an editor at the Left Wing Forward, which is often harshly critical of Israel, to clarify what she meant with their anti-Semitic trope, Omar retweeted the question with the comment, AIPAC. I don't even know what that means. Let me see. We'd love to know Ilhan MM thinks is paying American politicians to be pro-Israel, though I think I can guess. That's the second Answer Man trophy tweeted. Bad form, yeah, it is. Alright, back to the story. Hey. Oh, I get it. Okay, that's the organization. Okay, I get it. Okay. She went further. So she retweeted Adam Gentleson. Bet you he's not a gentleman. Let's see. So we're just gonna pretend Sheldon Adelson doesn't exist and that Kevin McCarthy is trying to punish Ilhan MN from Minnesota out of sincere commitment to the well-being of us Jews. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. This is interesting. As many suspected, it's not just about AIPAC for Ilhan at Ilhan. Sheldon Adelson is not AIPAC. Ilhan Omar is now just attacking Jews. So it's one thing. See, I think the AIPAC organization, I think that's that group of Jews who aren't really Jews. You know what? You guys know me. I just say it. I don't do the whole thing with the words Zionists. Okay? She's just basically attacking Jews. She's not just attacking the Zionists, which I could actually understand. They're not actually Jews. They're they have other agendas, and they use Judaism as a way to hide. So anyways, Omar, who tweeted in 2012, that Israel has hypnotized the world, is wrong. Worse, she is evoking ugly anti-Jewish stereotypes, prompting criticism from Jewish leaders and even from some fellow Democrats. The reason Congress is generally supportive toward Israel is simple. Americans support Israel. A Gallup poll last March suggested Americans prefer Israel over the Palestinians by nearly a 2-to-1 margin. Well, it's not a 2-to-1 Republican margin, so what's that tell you? I mean, the Democrats just can't survive at this rate. And I'm an independent. I don't want to see one party totally fall like this. I don't. I know it's fun to laugh at them and everything, but I don't want to see one party just fall in their face. Because that's not good. It's good to have two parties with their strengths front and center. Because there's some good things. There's things I don't like about the Republican Party. Things I do like about the Democratic Party. But as of late, it's hard to defend basically anything when you got people like this in there. And this is the fresh faces of their party now. Her, the other one from Minnesota there who talked about, that motherfucker talking about, I shouldn't have said that. See, I don't censor myself, but I probably shouldn't have swore. But anyways, talking about Trump. And then also the AOC, which, Jenny from the Bronx. Even though she was, from what I heard, she was, Jenny on the top floor of, in Chestnut Hill, Boston. Anyways, a Gallup poll last March suggested Americans prefer, anti-Israel, anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists try to explain that by claiming Jews control the media, but that is not true either. Well, it's kind of true. Media coverage today is often critical of Israel. There are 5 reasons Americans like Israel. Well, I'll tell you my number 1 reason. I know that in order for Jesus to return, and in order for the promises that are made in Christianity to come to fruition, you need Israel. And it's repeated over and over in the Bible that Israel is needed to have these things come to pass. That's mine. So let's see what the 5 reasons they say are. 1 is the same reason predominantly Christian nations around the world admire Israel. The Bible identifies Israel as the land of the Jewish people. Americans, as a more devout nation than most in the Western world, tend to feel that connection more strongly. So basically what else? America's founders also saw themselves building a new Israel, and some early U.S. leaders hoped to see the Jewish state restored in its ancient land one day. A second reason is that Americans see our country as having a positive mission in the world. The Second World War and the horrors of the Holocaust Yeah, that's a good reason too. Convinced many, including some formerly skeptical American Jewish leaders, that Jews need a state to survive. The Holocaust is not the reason Israel exists. The foundations of the state were already in place. But many Americans backed Israel as a form of restorative justice. Third, Olivia, here. Sorry, guys. Just gotta do something real quick. Look. Alright, just while I do the live streams, I put on Sesame Street for her. So, but then once I'm done with the live streams, I'm back to her. And then, but tonight I plan on doing 3 videos because there's 3 huge topics I want to get to. This is the first one, and it'll lead to the next. So third, Israel has been America's most dependable ally to the point of putting its own citizens at risk for the sake of American security. In the Gulf War, when Saddam Hussein rained Scud missiles down on Israel in retaliation for U.S.-led strikes in Iraq, the Israeli government obeyed the Bush administration's request that it not strike back, so that the coalition, which included Arab states, but not Israel, could remain intact. No other country does that. And that's a good point. Fourth, the Israeli and American people have a genuine affinity for one another. One strengthened by political, cultural, and economic ties. Definitely economic. Israel, like the U.S., is a vibrant democracy. Israel also has a cutting-edge high-tech sector. And Israeli firms are ubiquitous in Silicon Valley. Israeli television shows have inspired hits like Homeland and now stream on Netflix. Military ties have also strengthened these bonds. Israeli innovations in missile defense, partly funded by the U.S., are being adopted by American forces. Hence the Iron Dome. Hence the Iron Dome that we don't know about, which is probably a reason for the blatant chemtrails. But I continue. Finally, the behavior of the Palestinians and their allies has driven Americans and Israelis closer together. Not only have Palestinians terrorists targeted Americans, such as Taylor Force, a U.S. Army veteran killed in 2016, but the Palestinian leaders back anti-American regimes. The latest being Nicolas Maduro's socialist tyranny in Venezuela. Maybe that's where AOC should go. She loves socialism so much. Go to Venezuela. Maybe that'll wake her up to what socialism actually does. And Americans will not easily forget the sight of Palestinians dancing in the streets after 9/11 attacks. I know I won't. 9/11 happened my senior year and was the sole reason I joined the military. That, along with a long military tradition in my family. I continue. Do pro-Israel donors support American politicians? Absolutely. Just as proponents of any other policy view do. But they do not control outcomes. President Barack Obama and the Democrats backed the Iran deal. Speaking of Iran, that's the topic of the next video. And that's when, this one is just like mind-blowing. But the next one is, if you don't see me on YouTube again, you know why type of video. And because you guys know me, I don't care. I'll say it. I'll put it out there. If it's real, and I vet it, and it all checks out, I'm putting it out there. I vetted it. It checks out. I'm just putting it. I just gotta figure out the way I'm gonna approach it. Anyways, I can continue. There are also well-funded groups that oppose Israeli policy. Omar is not opposed to those. Before her offensive tirade Sunday, she retweeted a statement of support from the Muslim Public Affairs Council, backing her criticism of Israel. Jews are politically active on both sides of the aisle, pointing that out is not wrong, nor is wrong to criticize their particular views or actions. But that criticism crosses the line when it restores to irrational stereotypes. The toxic belief that wealthy Jews manipulate politicians to harm America is one Ilhan Omar shares with the mass murderer at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. It is abhorrent. So Okay, so this is going longer than I expected, but I mean, there's just so much here to unfold. So okay, so all right, here's some quotes by her. I pulled this up, but I hadn't read any besides this first one, so we'll see how this goes. I don't know if this is gonna be pro or anti Ilhan Omar, but here we go. Since the president's tweet Friday evening, I have experienced an increase in direct threats on my life. Many direct, maybe it's because of what you're putting out there, not him. Many directly referencing or replying to the president's video. See, that's the lie right there. I thank the Capitol Police, the FBI, the House Sergeant at Arms, and the Speaker of the House for their attention to these threats. The people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon. Was Bush downplaying the terrorist attack? What if he was a Muslim? Huh. I want to talk about the political influence in this country that says it's okay. I think she means Jews. It's okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country. I want to ask, why is it okay for me to talk about influence of the NRA, of fossil fuel industries, or Big Pharma? Wow, she hit the trio of BS on the Democratic side in 2016 right there. And not talk about a powerful lobbying group that is influencing policies. Well, we know what she's talking about there. And you know what? I wouldn't 100% disagree with her, except I know what she's all about. And I know what she's not about. And that's America. And I'm told every day that I am anti-American. I just said it right there. If I am not pro-Israel. I find that to be problematic, and I am not alone. I just happen to be willing to speak up on it and open House Democrat to attacks. It's almost as if she's like a psyop that would help people go away from the Democratic Party. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't know why the Democrats allow her. I want a Democratic Party that loses in 2020, but I don't want a Democratic Party that's weak. That's not what I want, because that makes this country weak. I'm just going to read one more. We started this campaign to prove people are ready and willing to fight for an America that works for all of us. To every staffer, volunteer, donor, and voter, this win is just as much as political BS. All right, so this is what I want to close on. And then we'll take a phone call or two if they come in. So after smearing of Obama, Democrats should know how to defend Ilhan Omar. See, that's what's alarming to me. Why are they not ousting her? I mean, just from what we've gone over today, it's enough that she has gone after American veterans. She's gone after real American Jewish people, not the Zionists, but the real American Jewish people. She's gone after President Trump. She's gone after anything she can. She's gone after she's posed as somebody who's part of the women's movement. Yet she gives speeches to segregated crowds in the place where her heart is, Somalia, even though she wasn't even there during Black Hawk Down. All right, that's when she was already a state rep back then. So anyone in Minnesota, I don't want to hear the BS about, since the whole Syria thing, we got so many refugees that their population is so large that it kind of puts them over. No, she was already a state rep way back then in '93, so I don't want to hear it. All right, so I want to hear this, and I'm sure you guys do too. Barack Obama did not attend a madrasa as a child. He did not, as a Fox News host claimed in 2013, pay out of his own pocket for the Museum of Muslim Cultures during the government shutdown. He did not have ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Is that a fact? Because I've seen other information that says otherwise, and it's not just some political mumbo jumbo. I've seen some real information that he did have ties, but we'll continue. He was not a terrorist sympathizer. But for 8 years, the right-wing rumor mills insisted to all and sundry that Obama, whose middle name was Hussein, whose father was a Muslim, he was a Muslim too, must also be Muslim and therefore an extremist. Obama was enrolled in a Wahhabi school in Jakarta. Wahhabism is the radical teaching that is followed by the Muslim terrorists who are now waging jihad against the Western world, who Omar seems to have some kind of compassion for, claimed one chain email quoted by PolitiFact. To the right wing, Obama's fictional. So basically, they're just talking about Obama. He went through all of these similar attacks that she's going through. But what she represents is totally different. Now, I, for one, do think, I mean, you judge a tree by the fruit it bears. And same with a man. And you look at what Obama brought to this country and the state that he left it in, and all the work that Trump's had to do to bring it back to its glory. That's what I judge Obama by. And I'll tell you, his first term when he first came out in 08, I voted for him. Okay, so it's not about that with me. I am an independent. And at the time, I was young and dumb, I'll be honest. So the right wing has swung into position with Omar at its principal target. Well, rightfully so. It's an easy target, which almost makes you wonder if it's some kind of psyop. That's how easy a target she is. The freshman lawmaker from Minnesota has been painted as an anti-Semite. All right, you know what? I'm not going to, because she is all these things. I'm not going to read this. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea. I don't mind reading the other side's views, but they're going to sit there and say she's painted as an anti-Semite. She is an anti-Semite. She's painted as someone who doesn't support the troops. She doesn't support the troops. She's painted as somebody who supports Somalia over America and is anti-American. She is anti-American. These are facts. I mean, easily you guys can say it's opinion, but I'm sorry, those are facts. All right, so if somebody wants to put the phone number in the chat, please, I'm willing to take a call or two. Just make sure the phone's charged the way I like it. All right, guys. So you know what? No calls yet. All right. So while we're waiting for a call, I'm just gonna let you guys know. So I'm coming out with a trio of videos tonight. This is the first one. Now, all of this is coming out tonight because of my research into the Notre Dame situation, which has yielded some amazing information, to the point where some of the information is so good that it helps me debunk other information that otherwise seems extremely credible, because they either one is true or the other one's not. If one's true, the other one can't be, and I'm able to actually tell the difference. So I've been working on that video as a whole. It's a recorded video that will be released. I keep thinking it's gonna, and I just keep coming across more and more info. So I'm never gonna get this video done unless I start getting some of this crap out. So I figured I'd start with the easy stuff, and this was the easiest thing, was talking about this woman. And with what I started seeing, I just have to, as a veteran myself, I have to defend veterans. I have to. And I just want to give anybody, because this is what I'm about. I'm about fairness. Whether you it's okay if you're against what I'm saying. I especially want to hear from you. Okay? I don't want your email. Okay? I want to hear from you. This is the problem with you Democrats. And, I actually love the show, Real Time with Bill Maher. I love that show. I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but I agree with a good amount of what he says. And he is a die-hard liberal, a real liberal, the type of liberal that my parents were here in Boston. Now, one of his biggest criticisms is that Democrats, they only go where it's friendly. You can only find the Democrats on MSNBC and places like that. Whereas the Republicans, at least they get some balls. You see them on his show on MSNBC. You see them anywhere because they are confident about what they are talking about. They have such confidence, they don't care where they talk about it, they don't care what the audience thinks. But Democrats, they have to be in a safe space, with trigger warnings at the doors, So, instead of writing me a safe email where I write back and I know you're not going to agree, and I always respond, you're going to get a response. Why don't you call in? Call in. I mean, I know I'm not probably number one on your list, and you're probably not listening to me live, but if any of you are, please call in. This is your chance. Don't call me at 3 in the morning when I'm sleeping. Call me now. And it seems like none of you guys are going to call, so if anybody else wants to call, now's your time. Because after this, I have a baby to take care of, and then I also have a second video that I'm working on, and then a third. I plan for all three to be done tonight. Right now, I can definitely promise the second one will be done tonight. And I just planned at the end of each of those videos, there would be a chance for people to call in. So let me just make sure I got my volume up. Yep. Just Also, guys, so to those of you guys, if you didn't see one of my I don't know if it was my last video, but one of the recent videos about why don't I do the super chat. Well, the super chat, a lot of that money ends up going to another place, and that's just not my thing. So, by the way, am I buffering? If I'm buffering, let me know. If not, just say you're good. But I'm not gonna do the live, the super chat. Every time I go up, they keep on trying to get me to. They're like, enable. Do you want to enable it? Do you want to enable it? No, I don't want to. Same thing with now. One thing I'm strongly against is the whole patron thing, because if you have patrons, that means that you're withholding information from your regular audience. I'm not going to withhold any information. If you have learned one thing about me by now, is that I don't censor myself and I don't withhold information. So I'm not going to do either of those things. So the best way, if you want to help me out at all, I'm not going to sit here and beg for money or anything, but the best way to do it, for now on, in every video in the description, I'm just going to put a PayPal link. Now, in a perfect world, everybody would have Venmo, because I think Venmo is the best way. That way, it's the cut that they take is less than 1%. And that would be the best way. So maybe I'll start leaving that link in case you have Venmo, in case you want to help support the channel. There's a few things that I want to get that I'm saving for myself. I'm not depending on anything from anybody. I'm saving for it myself. But, it's tough as a single dad. And anything is appreciated. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So that link is in the description. And I'm just basically talking, just waiting for a phone call. But I'm not getting any. So, okay, I'm going to end the video then if nobody has anything to say. I think this information is pretty straightforward. I don't think we don't have to beat it to death. And at the same time, what I was really hoping for was somebody to defend. That's what the whole idea of it was. But apparently nobody wants to come to her defense, and I don't blame you. But I know that I'll get a bunch of emails tonight and probably a phone call at 4 in the morning tonight about it. But I just, while we were live, I wanted to give those people an opportunity. And of course, the cowards they don't want to call in. So stay tuned. There'll be another video coming out soon. And I'm not gonna, change out how I say it. It's gonna be about Iran. Okay. So I'll catch you there, guys. All right. And in the future, anytime you guys need a red pill, please join me. Come get your Pez. Like this video, get it out there, share it. And if you want to subscribe, I suggest you, if you know for sure that you want to subscribe, go ahead. Otherwise, check out my other videos, check out my call-in shows, check out some of my, I've broken 5 stories, first to it on YouTube. 5 different stories, I've been the first on. This one, I don't think I'm the first to it. I didn't see any regular YouTube creators talking about it, but I know that Fox News had somebody on talking about it. And plus, when you talk about politics, it's kind of hard to be first to it because politics is politics. We only talk about what is put out there. So if it's put out there, it's already out there, right? So, but in my short time, I have broken 5 stories. I have call-in shows all the time. I planned on just doing a trio of videos tonight, like I said before. Each one at the end, I'm going to open it up for phone calls, which is what I did right now. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And stay tuned for the next video. All right. And like I said before, when you want your red pill, you know where to get your Pez. All right. Thanks, guys.